Hi, Matt Chinian here. Welcome to my studio. I wanted to show you the paintings I did in Philadelphia this week. I went down on Tuesday to visit my daughter, Hope, and it was really great to see her in her natural element and to visit her world in Philadelphia. This was a nocturne. This is the first painting I did. It was a nocturne. And pretty early in the evening, I hadn't intended it to be a nocturne, but it got late. And I found this little store, kind of a corner store with its own little parking lot. And I got some street parking. And it just occurred to me that it's a much more complicated nocturne than I usually do. Nocturnes have a tendency for me to have a lot of blackness on them. And it's an urban painting, so there's a lot of light in a lot of night scenes, and there's a lot of brightness and various things. And I really like this. One thing I really was kind of fascinated with was that the wall of this store had a mural. It had like a green kind of jungle theme or something, mural or whatever. And it kind of was interesting the way it was illuminated by the storefront. Then the next morning, this was Wednesday morning. I painted around the neighborhood where my Airbnb was, which was Charwood, I think they call it, Charwood neighborhood in Philadelphia. I really got to love Philly this trip. I really just think it's a great city. And it's very, there's some rough edges to it, and but it's beautiful. It really is. So I found this was my scene. And the car actually stayed the whole time, which was shocking to me. I figured it would leave. I mean, sometimes they stay for 2 minutes and then you're out of luck. Anyways, I set up on the street corner, and it was it was a nice morning. And the lights and the darks were right there with me. So yeah. I tried not to get, I mean, kind of a complicated painting again. It's kind of complicated as well. And so maybe not. Just a little slice of life, a little corner of the world. Then in the afternoon actually, this was also in the neighborhood, Charwood, and it was there's construction all over the city. And there's a lot of new apartments and stuff like that. But the construction fence, this bright orange, the blaze orange, like it's like a ski fence. You see them at ski areas too. Construction netting was there. It's all over the place, and this particular kind of location made it very interesting to me because just that shape and the tree in the corner and the otherwise vacant lot and buildings and street. And it's interesting because it took me a minute, but I realized that the compositional was really an X. It's like an X. It's kind of pretty obvious. And did I notice that? I mean, maybe I noticed it, but there it was. And the painter, it's like, oh yeah, there's an X right in there. How do I feel about that? X marks the spot. I knew the tree and the relationship between the tree and the construction fence was kind of crucial. And so this I thought should have been a watercolor. And I'm tempted to try to do a watercolor from this and some photos. For some reason, I just used oil. I had the oil going and didn't really have my watercolor. I had brought my watercolors, but I didn't bring, I have to get my setup right. It's not quite there yet for American urban painting. And then on Thursday, which was my day that I was going to leave, in the morning I went to the Pennsylvania Academy of Fine Art, which was fantastic. Hadn't been there a long time. And then in the afternoon, I started out of town, and there are these industrial neighborhoods along 95. It's still in Philadelphia. And they're really cool neighborhoods. They're just what I love are the neighborhoods between residential areas and industrial or commercial areas that are maybe not quite high industrial, but nonetheless pretty pretty full. Now this was a street or a road that had fairly large industry on it, and this section of 95 is just south of where the collapse happened a couple of months ago. I was sort of fascinated with that because it was just such a catastrophic fail or destruction, and it was rebuilt so quickly. And we go on that when we go to Philly, and it's really great. We appreciate that. So we live in a country that can do that, and it's pretty damn great. So this is so different than the other paintings, and it's a big view. I don't really, I've kind of been going away from some of these big views, and yet there's something alluring about that. The asphalt and the multi-layered roadways. These are wet. They're not for sale. They are for sale, so I probably couldn't want to get rid of them so quickly, but they're for sale. So if you're interested, let me know. Roughly, I can let you have prices if you just shoot me a message. Easy. And thank you for tuning in, and we'll be back soon. Bye bye.